Right, hey guys, welcome to the channel. We've not long kicked out a Dark Angels video, which is slightly different to this one. The Dark Angels, there had been rumours stroke leaks online. I'm reluctant to call them leaks because there's not from any official source, there's no photographs. So it's arguably more rumours, maybe it's someone's personal wish list. Anyway, I thought it was cool to take those rumours and do a little video about it. And sort of assess them and think if we think it's Dark Angels fluffy, if we like the idea behind it, if that's the sort of direction we want the Codex to go. Actually, the guy's ideas on the whole were really quite nice. The final part of his ideas, which makes it possibly not as believable as it could be, was that the lion was coming. I really want the lion to be coming.
I think that's what makes it believable.
See,
because we wish.
There's too many people out there that don't think he's coming. Gav Thorpe was apparently recently quoted. You know who Gav Thorpe is? Writes GW novels,
yeah,
Black Library.
I know exactly.
One of the novels he wrote, which was Ravenwing, I think.
Yeah.
So he writes Dark Angels based novels, who said the lion is not coming back. He's been quoted recently as saying that. Is he throwing us a curveball, or is the lion coming back? We don't know. Maybe this is part of Games Workshop's new sort of strategy whereby they control the leaks and the releases. Yeah. Perhaps, I don't know. Winters made a very good point to me personally where he said that there's been no hype around the line. There's lots of hype around Mortarion, little leaks, little pictures. There's been nothing around the line at all, which may indicate that he's not coming, which should make me a very sad panda. Because I really want to see the lion.
Looking at his potential leaked wish list stats, I'm a big fan already.
Yeah.
It'd be awesome to see him come back.
And there's been a lot of chat actually on some of my previous videos about Primarchs and who's coming back, and people talking about Dawn and people talking about Balkanistan, etc., etc. I don't. This is going to be controversial. I don't care for those so much because I like Dark Angels and I like Blood Angels, and I have stated previously that I believe that they may bring Sanguinius back just because of the Codex releases and the way it works. I don't want them to. I don't think it fits the narrative.
No.
And that's the important part, is the narrative. And this channel is all about the narrative.
Unless they've gone to the dark side.
I mean...
And they've given in to chaos and one of them's morphed into the new Sanguinius.
Yeah. If you've ever read the Blood Angels Omnibus, they do talk about how there is a belief within some of the Blood Angels that Sanguinius will be reincarnated in one of the Blood Angels.
Yeah.
And there is a whole story, I won't ruin the book, but there's a whole story based around that belief. So there is certainly some, and I use the term quite loosely, some fluff out there that supports Sanguinius possibly being able to return. I don't think it's a good idea.
It wouldn't be him, really.
But anyway, we've gone away from the line, even though this is a Blood Angels video. So we did that video. I do still think the line's going back. I'm sticking to my guns only because I've got a £10 bet on it. It's basically the only reason, because I don't want to lose £10. No. And even if it doesn't come out, I might kick bash my own in complete denial and say to winners, yeah, see, it was released. I won't do that. So yeah, that was that one. Head on over and check it out. Let me know what you think if you're interested. This one's about the Blood Angels because I said in my previous video that my two favourite Marine chapters are probably Blood Angels and Dark Angels.
Yeah.
I just think there's something about them that's so much different to vanilla Marines. Almost couldn't say that then. I've not been drinking. So something so different to the vanilla Marines that makes me interested in them. I mean, I know you have Ultramarines. But previously you had Blood Angels as well.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, Blood Angels were probably your first Marine-based love, weren't they?
They were. Yeah, I loved Haminators. They were like the thing to have. Three up Storm Shields was amazing. Sit them in a little huddle. Little priest in the middle.
Yeah. So I played Blood Angels many editions ago, and it was more Razorback, Assault Marine without jump pack, as troop type spam type stuff. And I enjoyed it, but I kept going back to Chaos because that's what I love. And then I had the whole Eldar romance that went off, and Eldar were good in 7th, as we know. So why wouldn't you play them? Because you could win everything. Because I used to do tournaments, and I'm sort of turning away from them now. Anyway, so Blood Angels, I've dabbled in them in the past. Mike's dabbled in them in the past. I wouldn't call us qualified to talk about them, but I think we can maybe talk about things that we'd like to see.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, this video's not planned, so we're going to spitball and see where it takes us. Because there's obviously rules with certain other codices whereby they have their own... Codexes?
Yeah,
codices sounds posher. Where they have their own sort of chapter-type traits, like chapter tactics or craft world abilities or Forge World dogmas, etc. So Blood Angels are clearly going to get their own set of rules. So, the first one that I want to see, I would like to see, is worded the same as previous rules, and it's called, I want to see Descent of Angels.
Yeah.
Descent of Angels is massive for Blood Angels. The ability to deep strike assault troops first turn for Blood Angels, I think, would be massive. I would love to, and this might make it too broken, I would love to see an ability where they can deep strike within, say, 6 inches or 6 inches or more away rather than 9 inches or more away.
You'd love to see it.
I just don't think it will happen.
No. It'd be nice to see it if it was on the Elite. Like
the Death Company.
Either on the Death Company or the Golden Angels.
Sanguinary Guard?
Yeah, and the Guard. On one of them. You won't see it on the Assault Marines, because that's got to follow normal Marines. But if you could have it on one of the unique Blood Angels only units, then maybe.
So the other way you can maybe, and this is where I think we'll see a Descent of Angels rule or something similar, whereby you can deep strike Assault Marines in turn 1. Although I don't know if you can now. Can you do that anyway?
You can do that.
So there needs to be something that makes it unique to Blood Angels.
It has to be.
So there's a couple of ways they can change it. They can allow you to, I don't know, reroll charge distances on the turn you're rifle and deep strike. That's quite a cool rule that's not too broken. They can allow you to be a couple of inches closer, so you don't have to roll so high in your assault move. That's what I'd like to see. Probably won't happen.
Or add to your assault move.
Yeah, or add 2 or 3 inches to something. That's quite a cool idea. The other thing they could do, and I really don't see this one happening, is they can allow you to put more than 50% in reserve and deep strike in. And I don't see that happening just because you could essentially null deploy a whole army and waste the person's first turn.
Yeah.
So I think maybe reroll in charge or an additional 2 to 3 inches to your charge range.
I think that's more likely. They will have a Descent of Angels.
I hope so. I really hope so.
It has to be. Or there'll be some sort of saving throw where you get maybe extra cover as you descend in this blinding light or type thing, like the Raven Guard kind of get.
Yeah. So there's 2 other rules that I've thought about for the Blood Angels that I think would be cool. We've done Descent of Angels. We've got a rough idea as to what we would like to see. Let me know what every single one of these. Let me know what you think below, because some of the last videos have got comments, and it's amazing to read what people think. So another one is the Red Thirst.
It has to come.
So the Red Thirst has always existed. In the previous edition, I think it was you rolled a 6 up and you got an additional attack. Or something
it was an
like
additional
that.
attack. In 6th, it was you had. Red Thirst or Black Rage. That was Black Rage, which you had to move towards it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So Red Thirst, you just got extra attacks.
Yeah, something like that. So what I would like to see for Red Thirst is, so if you know Drakari or Dark Elder, whether you're new or old money, and you know about their sort of combat drugs, I think something like that could be cool for the Red Thirst. So you have a number of either 3 to 6, maybe 3. So let's call it +1 strength, +1 attack, and always strikes first. So you're 3, right? And then for each unit for the Red Thirst, you roll a dice, or you roll a d3, and you get one of those abilities.
That'd be amazing.
That's really cool.
And balanced. Still.
Yeah. And you could, like combat drugs, you could pick them, but you can only pick one again if you've picked the other ones already. I think that'd be quite a cool rule. Maybe it won't be quite a cool rule. No, I like that actually. Yeah. I think keep it to random. Keep it to have to roll for it.
It's like your songs, isn't it? For
Canticles.
The canticles.
So we've certainly seen that Games Workshop do this sort of thing. You have a random table, or you can pick them. But I think if you had a D3 table, +1 attack, +1 strength, or instead of always hit first, maybe +1 weapon skill.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Weapon skill.
But like I said, you can also see how there is the possibility there that you could have 6 different types of things that revolve around. It needs to revolve around combat because it's the Red Thirst.
Yeah.
And then you have a table and you roll at the beginning of the game for each one, and that affects that unit. I like that idea.
You've got the bloodlust in, so it has to be combat.
Yeah. And the third and final one, so basically the first 2, you have probably noticed them from previous codexes, just because the names work. All we're trying to do is flesh out what the rule will be. And the third one's very much the same. It's the Black Rage.
It's the Black Rage.
You have to have the Black Rage.
I'm hoping it comes back with maybe some more like chaotic, sort of uncontrollableness to it. Because in 6th it was, and it was, you had to move to the nearest target.
Yeah.
And then in 7th it died down. It was a bit more controllable. It was attack orientated.
I think they had to, because the having to always move towards the nearest was ridiculous.
I was.
I hated it. When I had my Death Guard, having someone just basically stick the little rhino type carrot on a stick in front of you and go, follow me around, follow me around.
You did it to me.
So I know I did.
Yeah.
It was so annoying, and that's how I know.
It doesn't have to be that, but maybe it was like in close combat on a 6 you hit when you're a men, or because you're just blinded by the rage.
So I like the idea of using the 6 roll, because I've discussed in the Dark Angels video how I like the 6 rolls. Yeah. I'm thinking Black Rage is twofold. I'm thinking reroll charge rolls if you're charging the nearest enemy. Ooh. Because that gives you the ragey type element. Yeah. If you're charging something further away, you don't get it.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking 6s in combat give you an additional attack.
Okay.
Like Death to the Fox, because they're in a rage.
Yeah. But they already have that for chainswords.
No, chainswords just give you an additional attack if you choose to attack with it.
Okay.
If you roll
there are other armies with it.
Yeah. If you roll a 6 to wound,
then
a 6 when you attack, I think that should give you. So it's kind of like Death to the False Emperor that the Chaos have.
Yeah.
But because it's not faction specific for the Death Company. So it's not just against Chaos; it's against anyone. It fits their rage type fluff.
Yeah.
So that's what I would like to see personally: is reroll charge resistance against the nearest enemy unit.
I'd be alright with that.
And 6s exploding dice in combat.
Yeah. I think that has to be. I think there has to be a negative to it though, because it's the Black Rage.
Yeah. Well.
So maybe 1s.
So also
rolls to hit number 1. Do something negative.
All right. Well, what? So first of all, there is a slight negative. If you don't charge the nearest enemy unit, which you might not want to, you don't get the reroll. That's not a negative. It just isn't as good as being able to reroll. Yeah. The other thing they would have to probably add to it, because it's just fluffy, is that you cannot gain objective secured with that unit.
Oh, it has to.
Because Death Company traditionally been troops. I don't know. I haven't actually checked in the index to see whether there are elites or troops. I'll check that in a minute when we pause for the next section of the video. I know historically there were always troops choices at Death Company for Blood Angels. I'm hoping they still are, and I'm hoping that if they still are and you take Death Company, you do not get objective secured.
Yeah. Can't have it.
Yeah.
You needs to.
Maybe there does need to be another benefit. I don't know. Maybe you don't get the bonus for being in cover or something like that. I don't know. But
because they're just screaming.
Because they're just mental. That's the idea. Just raving around their heads in the air.
Yeah.
Ah! Oh, he's got Black Rage. Yeah. He's got a Black Rage in. So that's what I would like to see from the Black Rage. But whether that's the case or not, I don't know.
It was all very attacking in 7th, and it was all aggressive, and it was a good thing to have them in.
Yeah, but I still want them to be a good thing to have in because they're the Death Company.
There was a very hard choice between that and Sanguinary Guard in 7th.
See, I didn't find it hard in 7th edition, only because for me the Death Company looked so much cooler.
Yeah.
That's it. The black power armour with the red crosses of the Death Company, for me, aesthetically, just looks so much cooler than Sanguinary Guard. Don't get me wrong, the Sanguinary Guard, I can't even say it, the Guard models are actually really nice models, unless you try and stick the feathered wings on, and then they're just a pain in the backside. Because you have jump pack on Marine, and you have these wings.
And 2 tiny little contact points.
I didn't even... on, because that's the only way I could do it, to be honest with you, at the time. Mind you, my skills weren't quite the same back then. They're not much better now, to be fair, but I mean, the Sanguinary, and this is the thing, you see, so Sanguinary Guard are elites choices, obviously.
Yeah.
Death Company have always been troops, or would like them to still be troops. Maybe they're troops without jump packs, they're fast attack with.
Yeah, okay.
But that will lead me on to the next part that I would like to see, actually.
You're tangenting.
I am tangent. No, it's still the same. We're still talking about Blood Angels. So we've done the 3 sort of faction trait type things. There's only something else, and because of what's happened with all the codexes so far, I don't see this happening. I just don't, because I haven't done it yet. However, I would like to see Assault Marines in Blood Angels armies have the ability to gain the objective secured rule.
Okay. Why?
Because Blood Angels don't take tactical marines. Well, they do take tactical marines because they're space marines, but the core of their fighting force has always been based around assault marines. Assault marines storming locations, storming buildings, palaces, castles, whatever. It's assault marines and Death Company with jump packs storming. And it would be a shame if you were taking a full army of jump marines, which is very Blood Angels fluffy, I think.
Yeah.
And you couldn't take an objective because you don't have objective secured.
But they would argue that's your choice, isn't it?
I know that's what they would argue.
I feel where you're coming from, but that's the core, isn't it? Unless they made them troop choices.
I can't see that happening.
No.
It might happen.
Yeah.
Stranger things have happened. So it might happen, but because of so I would have a little part of me expected, because when the Eldar Codex dropped, I'm a Simon Hahn player, so Simon Hahn had jet bikes everywhere. And when the Eldar Codex dropped, I kind of expected one of Simon Hahn's bonus was that jet bikes became troop choices, so I could stick them in a battalion detachment and gain more command points. I wonder if it's because I expected it or because I just had a wish list there.
It was definitely wish.
Yeah. Games Workshop went, nope, if you want these, you take them in outright attachments and you don't get your +3 command points, you get 1 per detachment.
Which is what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Blood Angels would be aimed that way if you want to go narrative way.
Yeah, I think it's a shame.
Yeah,
it would be cool as a rule.
It will be.
The other 3 I think are quite conceivable. That one I think is quite far-fetched, but it would be nice to see it. Maybe you guys disagree. Maybe you think that because they're shock assault troopers, they shouldn't be anywhere near objective secured, because that's what the tactical marines sweep up behind for, to go in and secure the objectives. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just too much of a wish list. Maybe the idea that Death Company and Assault Marines without jump packs would be troop choices and with jump packs would be fast attack. Maybe that fits the theme and then allows the Black Rage to lose objective secured to be a thing. Maybe I'm too intertwined in a codex that I haven't seen yet. We're going to be nowhere near the mark.
Maybe.
So that's all the sort of traits I'm after. Model-wise, I think the Blood Angels don't have a bad range, actually. Their tactical marines are quite nice, the Assault Marines are nice, the Death Company are nice, the Sanguinary Guard are nice. Yeah. However, their characters.
Yeah, they need a bit of work.
Yeah, so I used to have Lamates, Astrath, Mephiston. You have Mephiston.
Yeah.
Dante.
I've got 2 Dantes. Both of them don't have axes because they've snapped off.
Finecast is amazing. Yeah. Well done, Games Workshop. I shouldn't say that. They watch now. Yeah. So when you have characters that are named as the following, and you've got Dante, Mephiston, Astrath, Lamates, the Sanguinor. Yeah. They are big names in Games Workshop's Blood Angels type fluff, like big names. In fact, not just Blood Angels fluff, but in Marine fluff in general. And then you see these horrible Finecast models. I mean, Dante doesn't look too bad as a model, to be fair.
No, if you can put them together and keep them together.
And Astrath doesn't look too bad, apart from the fact, obviously, that Dante's a chapter master. It's about a third the size of a Primaris Marine, because that makes sense. I'm not going to go off on that tangent.
At the time, he was big.
I hate Primaris Marines.
Yeah. I love them.
Astrath is a nice model. The Sanguinor's not even a bad model.
No, he's quite nice, actually.
Mephiston?
Yeah.
Get out. What is that thing? What is that horrible Buffy the Vampire Slayer looking type model? So for me, I think
bent sword.
Because Finecast is a thing. Yeah. So for me, I think if we see all the characters reworked into plastic, I mean that's wishful thinking. I think I'm probably too excited about that.
1 or 2 though.
I think I'd like
That'd be nice.
Personally, I'd like to see Dante and Mephiston go into plastic.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where I would go.
I never bought Gabriel Sith for the Flesh Terrors.
Actually, I'd like to see him plastic too.
He is an awesome model. Swinging that thing around, that's amazing.
And his chainsword.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Seth would be a nice cool model as well. And actually, I wonder if one of my other wonders with this codex was whether you'd have sub-factions within the Blood Angels. Maybe you just have the 2. Maybe you have standard Blood Angels and you have Flesh Tearers. Maybe they'll separate the Death Company out and you'll have Flesh Tearers, Blood Angels, Death Company.
Ooh.
That would be really cool to take a pure Death Company army.
That would be.
So maybe they'll do that. I don't know. I do not know anywhere near enough fluff about Flesh Tearers to start fluffing out rules for those.
No, not at all.
No. Just
the
fact that Seth's a cool model.
Seth was a cool model, and that was about all I think I took them because their rules fitted my structure for the organisation chart.
Yeah.
That's why I took them.
Yeah. But I'm more of a stock vanilla Blood Angels type player, I think.
Yeah, I think that's
I say player. If I had them, I would be.
Borrowing them.
Yeah. Right, so because I wasn't sure what the index said, we went and got the index and had a read, and that was mildly embarrassing.
A little bit.
No, it's not that bad. So we have discovered that Death Company aren't troops choices in the index, which is a shame because they always used to be, but then Wind Riders used to be troop choices, and because of the amount of detachments we have now, I suppose I'm not massively surprised. What I also discovered was they already had a Black Rage type rule, and I hadn't read that. No. Terrible research before the video. I apologise.
Yeah.
The Black Rage currently is +1 attack if you charge, and on a 6+ you ignore wounds, so like a feel no pain save.
Yeah.
Which I like, and it's fluffy, but I don't like it enough. So try harder. Mine was better.
Yours was better.
I'm going to say that because we waffled about it for 5 minutes before we then read the rules.
I think yours was better, but it's not too much. It's a little bit. It's a slight perk for going mental.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not too bad, but
yeah,
I prefer the whole. I think you're right. I think for the Black Rage to be in effect, you need some sort of nerf in it. So I noticed that Astrath has an ability whereby for I think Death Company units within 6 inches or something, you roll a d6. On a 1, they suffer a mortal wound. On a 2 to a 5, they get +1 to hit. And on a 6+, they get it's massive death or something, or massive whatever it is. And on a 6, they get +1 to hit and something else. I can't remember exactly what it is. So I like that type of idea. That if you roll a 1, you suffer a mortal wound. But I think if you do that every turn, that's too much. It's going to hurt.
Going to kill your own unit.
Yeah,
very quickly.
Unless they're 2 wound models, which I don't think they are. They might be. I haven't looked. How bad's that? I've just read it. I don't think the Black Rage is as good as it could be for narrative. The rule's cool. +1 attack when you charge and a 6-up feel no pain when you charge is an awesome rule.
Yep.
The rule's cool. I just don't think it's fluffy enough. The idea that they ignore pain is quite cool for Blood Angels because for Death Company because they always used to have feel no pain.
Yeah.
Didn't they? So I like that as an idea. I think that's a cool idea. But maybe not. Maybe not as refined as I would like it to be for their fluff.
You want more. You always want it to be bigger.
I do. And I get lost in synergy and rules sometimes, and I don't want it to go back to 7th where there's too many rules and you can't keep on top of it. Mike alluded to it already at the end of that last section of the video. We will have Blood Angels on the channel.
Yeah.
One of the heroes who I know, Martin Waller, has a Blood Angels army which quite simply is stunning. I've seen it, or some of it. And
seen pictures.
And he has offered to lend it to the channel for battle reports. This thing has been in White Dwarf because it is that good.
Yeah.
And he's going to lend it to us for battle reports. So I will be able to take the Blood Angels to the field of battle and have some fighting.
Wearing white gloves.
I'm pretty sure they quite like killing orcs as well.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
I'm pretty sure where they're currently situated, they're fighting orcs. Or are they fighting Tyranids? I think it's orcs.
They're fighting in the dark. That's all we know.
Either way, I'm quite happy to slaughter orcs and Blood Angels. That's quite cool and fun.
Yeah.
So the Blood Angels will come to the channel, and that's part of the reason why we're doing this, because I am very excited about them. But what will come to the channel will be a very nicely painted Blood Angel army. And when I eventually have to give it back and replace it with my own, I might then turn the lights off.
When you give it back
in the studio, I'll call it the studio. It's the kitchen. I might turn the lights off in the studio, and we'll just film in the dark because it won't look the same otherwise anymore. Anyway, I skimmed through the 3 current psychic powers. They've got some cool powers currently. Blood Boil is rubbish because Blood Boil is you roll a dice and compare it to the target's toughness, and if for every point you score higher, they suffer a mortal wound.
A single dice.
Yeah, I mean it's not. If you're hitting a Farseer whose toughness 3, then it's not bad. The potential to do up to 3 mortal wounds, but you have to roll a 6. But it just says pick a unit of 18 inches, so you can select characters, but. I mean, I think there's a power like that in the Chaos Codex called, is it Gift of Chaos or Boon of Chaos? It's very situational. You're going to hit a toughness 3 character. You don't tend to see, or toughness 3 unit even. You tend to see toughness 2 characters or units. Mostly toughness 4 or 5. So at that point you're rolling a 6 to get a mortal wound.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just smite? It just makes more sense. There's another one called Unleash Rage, which is +1 attack. And then there's a third one which gives all units within 6 inches a 4-up invulnerable save, I think it is.
Now that.
So that's all really cool. Like all of those, but as we know, they are just the core of the psychic powers, and there's going to be 3 more.
Yep.
Now,
what do you want?
You're not expecting this. I've chatted a load of rubbish so far, so I want to know what you think 3 extra psychic powers should be. I've already got 2 in my head.
Have you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure.
No.
Now you've thrown me right in the deep end.
Yeah, why not? Otherwise it's just me talking rubbish for the whole video.
It is.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you do that well.
I do. Well,
okay.
I say I do. How modest of me. I'm told I do.
So, a psychic power. Yeah, I'm not sure where that's going to go.
You want me to run with it?
Yeah, you go start.
So the first one I thought of was a power that would be worded along the lines of Wings of Sanguinis. So essentially, it's like a warp time type power. So we've seen warp time from Chaos. We've got Quicken with the Eldar. Wings of Sanguinus in the old Blood Angels decks essentially allowed it to move like a jump infantry, which was lovely because you could cast it on your Librarian Dreadnought and jump him 12 inches every turn. However, I'm thinking instead of a jump pack infantry type thing, maybe we'll just see like a warp time type equivalent whereby they can move twice rather than moving once.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Which, of course, if you're then jump pack troops, gives you a 24-inch jump move.
Yeah.
Which is cool. So I think Wings of Sanguinus is one that we'll probably almost definitely see. Whether it will be in that type of... I don't know. The next two, I had no idea, so I said to in the first place, I instantly came on thinking whilst I was chatting, they're kind of Mephiston specific, and this is why I'm struggling a little bit.
Okay.
So Mephiston as Lord of Death used to have a, I think he had a cup, did he have a couple?
Yeah, I was going with the chalice.
So he had,
it's the blood chalice, didn't he?
The blood chalice is, no, that's not Mephiston.
No, but that's it, that's a whole thing, isn't it?
Yeah, the chalices are around the sanguinary priests and Brother Corbulo and such. So Mephiston used to have the sanguine sword. That was a psychic power that made him a strength 10, AP -3. I say AP -3, AP 3 as it was AP 2 in the time. Power sword. I have seen that his sword is currently a strength ×2, AP -3, D3 damage, which is cool. So I don't know if I would like to see the sanguine sword as a Mephiston power, or whether it would just be some sort of different type of buff. I don't know. I'm not sure how that would work. Maybe you cast it on a unit and 6s cause mortal wounds, something like that.
Yeah, maybe something like that, because they don't need it now, because the sword is that good.
Yeah, which is what I'm saying. A sanguine sword type power that you can cast on someone like the Death Company, who then charge them with their chain swords and 6s cause mortal wounds. That's quite cool. That could be quite a cool power. Yeah. Maybe not. Maybe it'd be rubbish. And the other one, for some reason, I think Mephiston used to have a Gaze of Death type of ability.
Yeah, I remember Gaze of Death.
Or Transfixed Gaze, or maybe I'm thinking something completely different. It's not even related to
It's not even Blood Angels.
But I'm sure Mephiston used to have some sort of ability like that, and I think I would like some sort of Transfixing Gaze or Gaze of Death type thing, whereby instead of buffing the army, so we've already seen the +1 attack that they've already got, we've already seen the 4-up and vulnerable set that they've already got, we're suggesting that maybe something like mortal wounds on 6s and some type of warp type power. So this one would like to be some sort of nerf the enemy type power. So you gaze. So I'm thinking, because of the way Blood Angels work with combat, you gaze at some enemy unit, and no matter what happens, they always fight last.
Yeah, or no Overwatch, or
both.
Like that, or both.
Yeah, they can't fight Overwatch, and they must be the last unit selected to fight.
Yeah, that would be really good.
So you're looking at a horrible unit of I don't know, Hammonators, for example.
If that had a range on it, that really limits and forces you to bring your Psychers up. Yeah, as well. So it pushes you to.
So I'm thinking,
get out of that bubble.
Because of the way the psychic phase seems to work at the minute, I'm thinking about 18-inch range.
Yeah.
And I reckon gaze enemy unit. I like your idea of can't fire Overwatch, and then they must fight last. So, for example, if you're fighting Noel Slanesh demons who always fight first, nope, sorry, not a chance. You're fighting last. However, what you can also do is you can pick. So we all know that there's a stratagem in the main rulebook whereby you spend 2 command points and you can interrupt the fight phase sequence, and then you can pick your unit and fight. It's hurt me a few times. I've hurt people with it. I hurt John at Visicast with Magnus, who interrupted and cut Samael's head off. So it's a really cool stratagem, actually, and I think we still see it used quite regularly, even though it's a rulebook stratagem.
I love it.
Yeah, I know you did. But if you did it to me a few times, and Khan's been smooshed. Yeah. But if you could pick a unit and say, you will not get to fight till the very end, even if you spend 2 command points, you will not get to fight till the end.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
That would be very cool,
because it gives you the opportunity to initiate or activate 2, 3, 4 other units before that horrible unit of death or model of death gets a chance to go. Yeah. Because if you were to charge all your stuff into, say, Magnus, I would be spending 2 command points to hit your hardest unit, unless they've already hit me, which is kind of pointless. But if you could cast on him and say, nope, I say cast on him, he has a -2 deny, but still, if you could cast on him, because Magnus is awesome, if you could cast on him and go, not to the end, I think that's a cool type rule.
I think that would be really good.
So we've got roughly 6 psychic powers there.
It's a negative to the enemy as well. Which they don't have at the moment.
So and it's like I say, it's a it's a 6 psychic power type tree we've come up with, which is it was kind of roughly there, I think, for Blood Angels type fluff as well. It wasn't that hard for us. We only had to come up with we only had to come up with 3 more. I came up with 3 more.
You had already thought about it.
We'll talk a little bit about warlord traits, maybe a couple of ideas for stratagems, and then we'll wrap it up, because this is literally just a wish list and based on nothing at all apart from limited knowledge of Blood Angels fluff.
We should probably talk about stuff that isn't in the index.
Really. Not talk about rules that already exist, and we'll just come up with a whole different version of it.
Yeah.
Why the hell not? So probably just check the index again, just to prove that I was right that the chalices belong to Sanguinary priests and Corbulo. Essentially, they give you +1 strength aura.
Yeah.
Actually, we've noticed that in the index there's a lot of strength and attacks-based auras that you can cast or gain from being within range of, say, the Sanguine or a priest. And you can get to a stage where you're +1 strength, +1 to 2 attacks type scenario, which is quite cool. But the one thing that kind of encouraged, so this is where I'm going to tangent slightly, but not too much because I did the exact same tangent on the Dark Angels one. The one thing that does kind of encourage, which I hate, is castling.
With this one, I'd argue that there's enough people giving you those buffs that you don't have to castle around one thing. You can castle around multiple things and create these mini bubbles of attacking.
I think from a fluff perspective, if you have the Sanguinor in the middle and a Sanguinary priest in the middle with him with a jump pack, and then you've got everything together in that big blob, that's not narrative for Assault Marines going forward. Assault Marines would hit hard and fast in specific strategic locations. Surgical strikes. They're not going to blob forward and go, what's that big dark cloud coming towards us? It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. So this is why I would like some of these things to be incorporated into psychic powers and the traits for the Blood Angels. The +1 attack type traits, or something like the Red Thirst type traits, because I just think that removes that need to castle around certain characters. Personally, of course, they can also do this with stratagems as well, which we'll go on to. First of all, we want to cover Warlord traits. I'm not going to go into 6 specific ones that we want because it's pointless, but we'll just chat about a couple that we think we might like to see. Controversially, because I don't like the castle type principle, I would imagine, much like most Warlord traits, some of them will affect people within a certain range.
Yeah,
they always do.
Get that.
So I think we'll probably see one that affects units within a certain range and gives them some kind of 5-up or 6-up Feel No Pain type save.
Yeah.
Because it's Blood Angels fluffy. Feel No Pain's always been a big thing for Blood Angels.
Yeah, Feel No Pain will be one. I think you'll have some sort of leadership, morale check, sort of one based on a mask that they could be wearing or an aura they could be inheriting.
I mean, the death masks already exist.
Yeah.
For Dante and the Sanguinary Guard, I would imagine you may see a relic type version of that death mask, which would be really cool, rather than a Warlord trait. Although an aura ability of -1 or -2 leadership will, I reckon you
could get,
because you could stack that with death masks then as well, which would be quite cool. I think then you may, just because of how much there already is, you may see a +1 attack type aura. Because you're starting to stack synergize and end up with 2, 3, 4 attacks extra on the charge, which is cool. I think because you can only obviously you don't castle, but you're stacking it onto 1 or 2 units, which is quite nice. I'm kind of thinking that we'll see something like units within 6 inches of your Warlord get to reroll failed to hits against something in the fight phase, or they get 6s or an additional attack or something like that.
Yeah.
So an attack-based bonus or benefit that isn't just something as simple as +1 strength or +1 this or +1 that.
It's going to be mostly fighty based.
Yeah, well, and we'll see the normal. I reckon we'll see +1 toughness and say a 5-up Feel No Pain because they're Blood Angels.
Yeah.
So I think that's a sort of Warlord traits we can expect. I'd imagine they'll mostly be focused, like you say, around fighting type buffs or maybe even leadership type shenanigans. I wouldn't mind betting with the Blood Angels. I think that kind of fits, to be honest. Or finally some sort of Feel No Pain type. I say Feel No Pain. I know Feel No Pain doesn't exist anymore in 8th edition, but when I say Feel No Pain, most people know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So Feel No Pain type saves, for those of you who don't know, essentially is once you've suffered your wound, failed your armour save, and taken your damage, you can then take another dice roll for every point of damage you've suffered, and you normally have a set quantity, whether it's a 5-up or a 6-up, that you roll that then ignores that 1 point of damage. So if you take 6 points of damage, you have to roll 6 dice. That's the Feel No Pain type save we talk about, and I would imagine we'll see something like that.
Yeah, no, I'm
within the Blood Angels. Relics wise, I reckon we'll see some sort of buffed death mask perhaps that we can give to people. I wouldn't mind betting we'll see some sort of buffed chalice that gives you something better or benefit.
Give it to a character that
I am guessing, because I'm aware that Dante already has a death mask and Corbulo already has the Red Grail. So I know that these things exist, and just sort of spitball as to what they could have. You might see some sort of mastercrafted type chainsword.
But you can give a Sanctic Halo type thing to a character in the Ultramarines in the Marine books, so why couldn't you give a chalice type thing to.
I don't see. I think you could see something like it. Maybe this chalice would give that warlord something like an additional invulnerable save or a 5-up for pain type save or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw some sort of master crafted chainsword, and I wouldn't be majorly surprised if that was specific to Flesh Tearers warlords or Flesh Tearers characters, just because it'd be like a chainsword at AP -4 or something. As a relic, because it's a relic.
That'd be amazing.
You give to one character, and 2 damage or something like that.
It might be better than Siths.
No.
No D.
No D? What?
Yeah, no D3 wounds.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. A single wound or 2 wound, or it would be let's say a -2 AP and 6 cause mortal wounds, something like that. That would be really cool. So you'll see probably the standard type bolt gun type relic that most Marine codexes get. And I don't think we'll see much. Maybe you'll see some sort of. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw some sort of custom fancy relic type jump pack that you can give to a captain or a sanguinary priest or something. Maybe as well. I don't know what that will give you. Maybe an additional move. Maybe it allows you to move an additional 4 inches or something like that. So your 12 inches becomes 16, and you're moving as fast as an older jet bike. That'd be quite cool.
Yeah.
And then you can re-roll advanced rolls or something like that, just to give you that little bit extra buff.
I'd imagine something like
that's quite a cool.
The wings of Sanguinus.
Style. So like a psychic power type thing, but with a custom jump pack.
Yeah.
And then what we'll do lastly is we'll talk about stratagems, because stratagems are a big thing now, and I haven't really thought about stratagems too much. But there's got to be a way that Blood Angels can incorporate some Blood Angels specific type stratagems, I think. And we heard about some of the ones that the Dark Angels were supposedly going to be rocking with that rumour, and something I thought were really quite cool and quite fluffy. And this is the bit where I think I will struggle the most to come up with something interesting and original, because stratagems are, I don't know, as I said in the Dark Angels video, you will see 3 pages, because that's quite common, and the first page to 2 pages will probably be very similar to most Marine books.
Yeah, you will.
Because why wouldn't the Marines?
You'll have the kill shot stuff. You'll have things that are aimed at Vindicators. You'll have things that are aimed at bolt guns and heavy bolters and standard stuff. Yeah, exactly. Because the Blood Angels have access to all of that stuff. I would like to see. I would say that you've got kill shot for Predators. Yeah. You've got linebreaker bombardment for Vindicators. Yeah. I would like to see some wall of flame thing for Bile Predators. That would be amazing.
Yeah. So Bile Predators, 3 of them in a squadron. What are they currently? D6 hits? Is there a flame or are they 2d6 hits?
I'd like to say.
We will check before we lie, because we've lied to you a few times. And lying's naughty, as I tell my little boy.
We will check.
We've just checked the index for Bile Predators, so and it's good that we've checked it, because it's instantly given me an idea for a stratagem. Awesome. So I still think a Wall of Flames type stratagem, but rather than calling it Wall of... Well, maybe we'll go for 2. We'll go for a Wall of Flames one and a Bile Predator specific one. So Wall of Flames can be placed on Bile Predators if they're in squadrons of 3, for example, and instead of D6 hits, you go automatically to 6 hits per Bile Predator.
Yeah.
And it will cost, say, 2 command points.
Yeah.
The final one I've got, which like Kill Shot or Linebreaker will cost a command point, is Bile Predators and squadrons of 3, and rather than being a flame based one, because they can take twin assault cannons, what we'll do is much like the Predator Kill Shot, you spend a command point, you get +1 to wound, and -1 extra AP.
Yeah, because they're -1.
That way, Flamestorms are strength 6 AP -2, assault cannons are strength 6 AP -1. So they're wounding most things on 3s that are toughness 4, for example. That means you're wounding on 2s, and you get an extra -1 to your AP value. That makes them really quite lethal in squadrons of 3. And if you were to drop 3 command points in one turn on 3 Flamestorm cannons, you'll get in 18 shots at strength 6 with +1 to wound, AP -3.
Yeah,
that's
really
awesome.
Very good.
So do that, Games Workshop. I know you've made the book. If you haven't done that already, take it off of production, write that in and put it back on. Because we said so. And then obviously one of the other units that are quite specific to Blood Angels, as we've just spotted, is Furioso Dreadnoughts, which we haven't talked about much.
No.
I'd like so Mauler Fiends in the Chaos Codex have a Demon Engine type stratagem. I think it's reroll to hits and to wounds in the fight phase or something like that. I think that'd be cool if you had a Furioso stratagem.
Yeah.
Reroll to hits and to wounds. Spend a command point, your Furioso Dreadnought can reroll to hits and to wound rolls.
That's what, it needs that.
I think that'd be cool.
It's specific to Blood Angels then. You don't get it everywhere. It'll be it needs to happen. Yeah.
We'll call it Furioso Fury. Why not? A terrible name.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be quite quite a cool type power.
Yeah.
I wonder if we can do something along the lines of spend a command point and units that are within 6 inches of a sanguinary priest get +1 to their feel no pain type save.
I'd like something like a blinding light or something off with a sanguinary guard.
Blinding light?
Yeah, blinding light.
Really sharp, like bright torches.
Yeah, like their armour's just shining so brightly as they land or as they assault that they get an additional cover save.
Okay. What are they called? Warp talons in the Chaos Codex.
Yes.
Have a thing called Warp Flame Strike.
Yeah.
Whereby the turn that they deep strike in, you can't shoot Overwatch at them because you're blinded.
Because they get that though.
So yeah, but they get that. So what about you spend a command point, they deep strike in, you can't fire Overwatch.
That's what
fits the fluff that you want and kind of fits. I mean, if you use the narrative based reason because their armour's so shiny, I'm not sure people would buy that. But it depends on how you paint it, I suppose.
Their aura, they're coming down from the heavens. There's this blinding light.
Oh, as they call it,
yeah.
Like Life of Brian type stuff.
Exactly.
Oh dear.
Light of Brian.
The light of, that's what we'll call it. The stratagem for that will be the Light of Brian. If you don't know what we're talking about, you haven't lived because it's Monty Python specific. Yeah. So yeah, there's 3 or 4 stratagems there that I think would be quite cool to Blood Angels specific type stuff. I think we'll probably see spend 3 command points, pick a unit of Death Company. They can fight again in the fight phase.
I think
because that exists for Chaos, and you can put it on things like Khorne Berserkers.
Yeah.
So I would imagine you'll see that for Death Company, and it's fluffy and it fits. And it won't be called the Black Rage because there's already a rule that exists for that. Hatred Incarnate or something we'll call it. Yeah. So that's what we'll go for stratagems. I think is about those 4 or 5.
The Flesh Terrors might get one that's like to emulate Seth's whirlwind with the chainsword, where they all can whirlwind with their chainswords. And they get additional attack or.
I like the idea. I like the idea of pay a command point. I spend a command point, and all assault marines with chainswords get to do mortal wounds on 6s.
Yeah, we always like that though.
Yeah, I know.
Chainswords should do more.
Well, they do now.
To be fair, they get extra attacks.
So before 8th edition came, I was getting real narky because I don't run that many chainsaws. I just think chainsaws, when you read the stories and read the fluff, should be better than they were in 8th edition, because in 8th edition they were just an angry stick. 7th edition, sorry.
Yeah, 7th edition.
You're right.
Yeah.
I'm going to draw pen attention. They were just an angry stick, and it was just beating people with an angry stick. Then 8th edition dropped, and I saw the rule for chainsaws. They get an additional attack for using chainsaws. Not what I would have liked, but I was like, okay, it's something.
We used to play rending on 6s.
Yeah, we used to house ruled it, didn't we?
Yeah, house ruled it.
However, when I read that they could do an additional attack for a fight with a chainsaw, excited, chainsaws get something better. Cultists improvise weapons
get it as well.
Do an additional attack. So if you're hitting, I mean, obviously the strength of a Space Marine and a weapon skill of a Space Marine is different to a cultist. But take the weapon alone, you're telling me that a drain pipe is as good as a chainsword. Come on.
Yeah.
It needs more. So I would like a Flesh Terror stratagem. Spend a command point. Chainsaws do mortal wounds onto wound rolls of a 6.
I like it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's because
That's pretty much what we used to play.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I'm now working it into a stratagem for the Blood Angels. Yeah, I suppose that's probably about it. I was going to come up with things like Storm Ravens can deep strike, but I think they might already be able to. I would like a Storm. I don't actually. Maybe they can't. I don't think they can.
No, they have to start on the board.
Okay, so maybe we have a Storm Raven type Descent from the Heavens type stratagem. Spend a command point, and you'll Storm. So you can do it with Eldar. They've just come up with the Cloud Strike stratagem, where you spend a command point, and any unit with a fly keyword can start in reserve and then deep strike one at the end of your first, second, third, fourth turn, more than 9 inches away from an enemy. That would be cool for a Blood Angel Storm Raven laden with, say, Assault Marines or Death Company and a Dreadnought attached to the back. Yeah, there we go. There's some stratagems. Yeah, right in the book. We should have done this months ago. We could have written the book for them.
We could have done that.
It could have been exactly what we wanted to see then. That would have been cool.
If they'd allowed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, what we'll do then is we're going to wrap this up by talking about the types of lists we would want to build with the Blood Angels. It won't be long, just a little bit of I would like to do this, this and this. And then we'll shut the video down, that'll be us done, we'll all go home happy, and you've got another lovely video to watch, which is cool.
Yep, and hopefully you've painted a lot or built a lot in the time we've been talking.
This is what I am doing services to the hobby with this channel, because everybody near enough tells me that I watch your videos or listen to your videos when I'm painting or hobbying, apart from my brother today. Apart from my brother, he doesn't paint or hobby when he's listening to my videos.
He watches
I listen to your videos when I'm doing the housework. But all right, 1950s wife. I can say that only 2.1% of my audience is female. Yeah. So yeah, we'll talk about the lists we want to play, and then we'll end the video after that. Right, so lists. We've had a little bit of an off-camera chat, just because we can. It was quite lucky because we haven't planned it, and actually the lists we would take, considering the rules we've come up with, is completely different.
Yep.
So do you want to go first or second?
I can go first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, go for it. So this is what Brom would take, what Mike would take with his Blood Angels.
I would. This is what I was kind of aiming at back when I was actually collecting them, but didn't collect enough of them. And then Skyhammer Assault came out and we switched completely to drop pods. Was having Land Raiders with Flamers, and then Wild Predators with Flamers, all driving forward. So you got Land Raider in the middle, full of Hammonators that can charge out and assault out of the machine, out of the Land Raider. And you've got the Wild Predators flanking. You've got Tactical Marines sort of securing the backfield, and that's kind of how I'd play them.
So you go kind of flame tank heavy.
Flame tank heavy.
Okay.
A little bit of support.
Aircraft.
I wouldn't go there. I have got a Storm Raven painted, so the likelihood is I probably would take that
because you have it.
Because I have it and it's painted. But actually, if I was starting again, I wouldn't. I probably wouldn't.
And the weird thing, one of my biggest ever bugbears with 8th edition, is the weird thing is in that kind of list, you'd have incredible anti-aircraft. Because somehow, Flamers auto-hit aircraft.
My 8-inch Flamers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8-inch range Flamers can go 70,000 feet in the air and blow an aircraft out of the sky.
Yep. But I would be more inclined to take to Flyer, because now I'm not so worried about deep striking. In 7th, I hated sticking anything in a Flyer because I didn't want to deep strike it out of the Flyer.
Yeah, also you had the horrible reserve rules in 7th edition where it might not come on till turn 4 or 5.
Exactly.
And that was horrendous when you had a Flyer, which was 200 odd points, loaded with 200 odd points of Death Company and another 150 odd points of Dreadnought. So you had 600-700 points in reserve, and then you kept missing your roll for reserves. That was painful at times.
But I'd stick with the land probably, and stick with my flamers, tanks, and then my tactical marines, which would have flamers.
So your Wild Predators all flamers, or you
all
assault cannons as well?
No, don't need assault cannons. It's all flamers. That's how I'd build mine.
I mean, I like it because it has to be in your face really fast.
It has to be in your face
to do damage.
Yeah.
You always do damage when you're in people's face.
Yeah.
And yeah. So yeah. I think that'd be cool and interesting, and I think it'd be quite different to most Blood Angels lists.
Yeah, but
they're flamecraft they're known for supposedly, so I think that would be cool, and it would be quite narrative and fluffy. Whereas I would go basically the complete opposite, and I would go to what I would call a traditional Blood Angels list.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking 2 to 3, not even 2 to 3, a couple perhaps Storm Ravens, not because flyers are broken, but that dog is going to annoy me. Every time I film, she's like, oh, look, I want to say hello. Here she comes. Don't worry, dog, you'll be dead soon. So I want to see I want a couple of Storm Ravens, and I want to load them with things. What I would like to do is pure Death Company.
Yeah, I'd imagine you would have.
Yeah, well, wait one, because I'm going to have to get rid of this thing. Oh no, she's died. No, she's died. That was the noise. Or she's just laid down. I would like to build a pure Death Company army, which is hard because I really like the Sanguinary Guard. Yeah. I like the idea of normal assault troops, but I think I'd like the idea of a big black Death Company force first, led by Astorath, Lamatis in support, Death Company Marines with jump packs, Storm Ravens, Death Company Dreadnoughts bolted to Storm Ravens, because now you can start them all on the board.
Yeah, I imagined you would be going that way.
So you can go Storm Raven, 10 Death Company Marines, Storm Raven, or how many can they hold? Is it 10, 12 models, something like that?
10?
We'll go 10, so say 9 Death Company Marines and Astorath, another Storm Raven, 9 Death Company Marines and Lamatis.
Jump packs.
Things
like that. So.
Dreadnoughts bolted to the back. I love that idea that you've just got this sea of black Death Company that have gone, these guys are nuts, send them in first.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to do.
You are the spear tip.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Send the insane in, because if they get killed, well, that's probably their fate anyway, so in they go. With Lamatis, like I say, Astorath in there, I don't think I would take many Psychers. I think that would be my 2 main characters.
No.
And that's really why I want Death Company to be troop choices.
I wouldn't have Psychers, really.
No.
I'd be pushing the priests, Sanguinary Priests, in with my Hammonators. That's where I'd be leading. Because
what I think I'll do is, if I can't take Death Company as troops choices, then I'd probably have to go for a dual Outrider. Yeah. The other option I've got, which I thought about doing, was building Death Company models with bolt guns, with backpacks, and building 3 squads of 5 and taking them as Blood Angels Tactical Marines, but having them made as Death Company Marines. So although they're on the ground pushing and taking objectives, they still fit the aesthetic for my army.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking I would like to do. But people might go, well, Death Company Marines. Yeah, but they've just got bolters, because all my Death Company have got chainsaws and pistols and power fists and jump packs.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll get away with it.
Maybe. Depends who you play. In our games, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, well, and on the channel, because, you know...
We make the rules.
It's my channel. Yeah. That was a horrible thing to say.
Yeah.
It's not my channel, it belongs to you. But when it's cheesy, wouldn't it, like that? When the Codex drops, what I'll do, like I'm doing with all the other codexes, someone will correct me, I will write my Blood Angels list up, like I have done so far. The Thousand Sons one will have just dropped when this video comes out. Actually, I might get this one out first. I've already done my Death Guard one. I'm about to kill the dog. I'm about to write or record the Eldar one soon. So yeah, I will do a Blood Angels list, but what I'll do, because it's so soon, is I'll wait till that Codex drops.
Yeah.
And then if Waller hasn't got the stuff that I want to use, he's going to have to paint more.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, that's the only real option.
That is.
I could adjust my list to what he's got, or he could just paint more.
He likes painting.
He does like painting. Yeah. It doesn't take him long either.
No.
It knocks it up in a couple of hours. You can tell. You can tell when you look at it. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. I like to think we've kind of stuck to Blood Angels type narrative, all the rules we've suggested and we've talked about. Put your ideas in comments below. It's always really interesting to hear other people's ideas. It's interesting when people disagree with me completely and they've got their own ideas. It's interesting when people agree with me and modify the ideas slightly. It's interesting to hear people say, yeah, I think that's a good idea, I like it. So definitely put comments below as to what you think about what we've talked about. Put comments below as to what you'd like to see, and put comments below as to the type of list you'd like to take for Blood Angels, to see if there's a common theme or if there's a bit of a spread. Ours are obviously completely different lists, which is quite interesting. I'm Death Company heavy, focused on getting in there and assault. He's Flame tank based heavy. Two very different lists from one codex about one chapter, which is really, really cool. And we've not even touched on a Flesh Terror type build, which is awesome. Anyway, that's this one done. So at the end, I'll quickly give a shout out to our sponsor. You haven't seen any of the stuff because I haven't filled battle reports yet, but we have got an official sponsor. That's GameMap.eu. They are linked in the description below. As I've mentioned already, feel free to go in the description below and check out Patreon. I never asked anyone to. I don't ask people to. I just say, have a look if you feel like it. That's linked below. And then there's the Redbubble clothing type stuff below, which is really just for me to buy stuff to sit on camera with. But if people want to buy, someone bought a mug the other day.
Yes.
I know, someone's bought a mug. There's a mug's coming for me and you and Noel.
Yeah.
And I bought another mug for someone else who I'm not going to mention. He probably knows.
Does he like tea?
He does like a lot of tea. He's just giving it right away. So yeah, it was only for us to buy stuff for us for the channel, but if you wanted to go and buy it, go and buy it. If there's ever discount codes, I'll stick them out on my Facebook feed, I suppose, and people can go and use discount codes, because sometimes they send me through discount codes.
Cool.
So if I ever get any through by email, I'll just stick it in the Facebook feed, and people can go and use those if they ever want any of the stuff. Noel's been working quite hard with the designs. It's not me. So I first did them and they looked stupid. He took over them because he's a designer, and they now look all right. Surprise, surprise. So check that out below. Like I said earlier on, if you're not already a subscriber, just click subscribe. It costs you nothing and it makes me feel important. And as I said, near enough half of you aren't subscribers, which is a bit rude. If you're going to come and watch this and not subscribe, it's a bit rude.
It's not like you're not coming and watching.
Yeah.
There's quite a few of you regularly watching, which we love.
Yeah, I do, lad. Yeah, there's some really regular commenters and regular viewers, and you guys are absolute heroes. Because without you, I would just be talking to myself.
Yeah.
Because I watch my own videos.
Yeah.
Yeah. When my wife's at work in my pants.
I talk to you most days, and yet I'd watch you.
It's going to get weird in 10 minutes, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah, I'll be sat in my pants watching my own video. Anyway, like I say, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.